President Trump is ready to unveil his big, beautiful budget tomorrow, but those on Capitol Hill still scrambling to lock in the details to make it easy for them. The White House has given GOP leaders a list of wants after the president met with a group of lawmakers today.
Well, Texas Congressman Chip Roy isn't holding back, blasting members of his own party for not getting serious enough on spending cuts.
There's a large constituency would like to see those taxes lowered. But at the end of the day, we got much bigger fish to fry in terms of figuring out the larger numbers and figuring out where the taxes are going to end up. And if we're going to extend tax cuts, then we better get busy doing the spending cuts. I've said before, a lot of people say don't touch benefits, but they don't want to do the math.
Fox sources are told there's an agreement in the works which still needs some ironing out for Medicaid. Senator Josh Hawley firing back over the idea of cutting any benefits.
The speaker seems to be trying to find a way to do Medicaid cuts. The president doesn't listen to him. If you want to be in the minority forever, then go ahead and do Medicaid cuts. In fact, if you're going to do that, you may as well go ahead and cut Social Security and Medicare too. So it would be catastrophically stupid.
Well, Speaker Mike Johnson says he wants the bill passed by Memorial Day. That's ambitious. When asked if the House might blow up its recess that week if necessary, a senior House Republican telling Fox that the House will stay put until it's passed. Joining us now to react is Economic Policy Innovation Center President and CEO Paul Winfree. Paul, all right, you just heard two sound bites there, one from Chip Roy on the House side, one from Senator Hawley on the other side. And that seems to be some conflict, possible bumpy roads ahead. What do you make of it?
Well, first of all, I think that Chip's got it exactly right. I mean, what the House is struggling with right now is to find $1.5 trillion in savings to pair with the tax cuts. Because we all know that what the government spends is actually what the tax rate is. You're going to pay for it one way or another, through debt, through higher taxes, or through inflation. And really, of the $1.5 trillion, the administration has already found about $700 billion. So what Congress is going to do is they're going to come in on the back end of that and codify the $700 billion. So all the House really has to find right now in the next couple of weeks is about $800 billion in spending cuts. And they can get that in a number of ways, but really they're looking at bending the cost curve for health care or reducing the growth in Medicaid spending or going after the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, the new Green Deal subsidies. So those are the two big buckets, the two pots of money that Congress is looking at right now and that they're debating and that they're struggling with.
Cutting $880 billion, which is in the instructions for energy and commerce, $880 billion from Medicaid, Paul, still takes the baseline to a $1.5 trillion increase in Medicaid spending over the next decade. Please tell Josh Hawley why 6 out of 10 able-bodied adults in Medicaid have no earned income. Why is Medicaid increased in spending by more than 50% since 2019? Why are 2/3 of the seniors in nursing homes in this country on Medicaid? 2/3. They're not all impoverished. It's because their rich family members dump them onto Medicaid so they can keep their houses. I could go on, Paul, but this is a ruse by these Republicans.
Look, you said it better than I could, right? So in the baseline, which is this is Washington math, right? So in the baseline, there's about $2 trillion in spending increases baked in for the Medicaid program. And so any reduction in that increase is scored as a cut. Really what the House is looking at is somewhere in the ballpark of a $500 billion to $800 billion reduction in the $2 trillion increase, which, as you said, still amounts to a massive increase in Medicaid funding. So we're not actually talking about a cut here. This is only a cut in Washington, D.C.
And mostly to Democrats, but obviously there are some Republicans who are also going along with this type of rhetoric and this type of framing. Would it be possible to eat into that number in a major way simply by requiring work or looking for work for able-bodied adults to get Medicaid? Would that be a cut in the parlance of some of the opponents?
Well, it would score as a cut, but again, it would only reduce reduce the growth in the spending of the Medicaid program. I mean, you could grow Medicaid every year for the next 10 years at 3%, which is higher than inflation, and it would score as like a $1 trillion cut in the Medicaid baseline. If you were to require work for the able-bodied population that doesn't have kids and is not elderly, it would save about $200 to $300 billion. If you were to get rid of some of the Medicaid loopholes that states are using to expand coverage to illegal immigrants in California and New York, or waive the asset test and put wealthy people on the Medicaid program in some of the blue states, that alone saves like $700 billion over the next 10 years, according to the Congressional Budget Office. But again, even if you added up all of these scenarios together and on top of each other, you're still talking about a massive increase in the spending on the Medicaid program over the next few years. And really, I don't think that we can afford not to do this. And this is what Chip is saying.
That's why he's yelling, because it's all insanity if you know math. Really quickly, Paul, the bond market is making you nervous. That one kind of overnight when it locked up and we got the 90-day pause on the reciprocal tariffs, is that what you see in the future? A spike in interest rates for our borrowing costs?
Since the end of the Obama administration, we have been eroding debt capacity. And under the Congressional Budget Office's baseline, unless we cut spending, we are going to start permanently eroding borrowing capacity or debt capacity around 2029. And at that point, we'll enter a debt spiral, interest rates will peak, folks won't be able to get mortgages, they won't be able to afford their credit card bills, they won't be able to go out and buy cars and open up small businesses. And so really, we live in this critical time where Congress has the opportunity to, not actually cut spending relative to what they're doing right now, but rather just bend the cost curve a little bit, send credible signals to the bond markets, shore them up, and make sure that that borrowing doesn't get out of control in the future.
Amen.
Paul, thanks so much for your time tonight.